Hi and welcome back to the third module in the series of lesson planning. In the previous module, we discussed the template, the different criterias, the options which you have, the methodology which you need to adapt. We had briefly discussed in the template. Today we are going to talk about in detail how we would write a lesson plan. We discussed in the previous class, it's important for us to know and understand the knowledge, what is required for a particular class. That is, I should be aware if I am teaching grade 1 mathematics addition, then I should be very well aware of the 4 basic operations in mathematics. If I am teaching EVS, then I need to be aware of the surroundings, the different kind of animals, thorough knowledge on the topics what I would be teaching as a teacher. It's very important that we know what exactly is in the textbook, and in today's world what is more important is the more you have knowledge about a particular topic, the more you would be able to do justice as a teacher in the classroom. Because remember, children are coming into the class prepared, in the sense they know, they would have seen videos on domestic animals, they would have seen videos on the different people who help us in the society. If you are talking about the people who help us in the society, they would know who a police officer is, they would know who a doctor is, they would know who an engineer is, they would know who a collector is, they would know who nurses. So they are aware of these people in the society. If you are teaching them rhymes, they would have learned the rhyme, because remember, the mother would have played the YouTube video to keep him occupied, and in the process the child has learned the rhymes and then he's coming into the classroom. It's not like 15-20 years back, the situation was totally different. The children who came into the classroom were not aware. At the most they would have learned ABC and then numbers 1, 2, 3, like this. But today's children know most of the things when they come into the class. So as a teacher, it becomes a double responsibility, and we have to be double alert on what kind of information are we trying to share with the children. Planning, in detail I have given you why planning is important. Without planning, we cannot walk into a classroom. Without planning, we won't be able to do any work. Without planning, we won't even be able to cook the food. Lesson plan becomes important. We'll go to the lesson plan, activity-based learning, brainstorming session. We need to keep asking questions and brainstorm and keep them curious. Tell them, how do you do this? How do you find this? What is the color of an elephant? What is the color of a tiger? What is the color of a dog you have at home? So in the process, they are also learning the colors. Curiosity. Keep them glued to the screen, like how when you're watching a cartoon, how the children are curious to know what it is. That curiosity needs to be in the class. Knowledge. The importance of subject matter is that it helps the teacher to empower the students and ensure they make all the progress they are capable of. If a teacher has got a strong subject content with her, it will help the teacher and empower the students. We will be able to share the information. If you know the different domestic animals, if you know the different kinds of people who are there, then you need to have extra out of the box information, out of the box knowledge. Like you start sharing stories of, if you're teaching different kinds of people who help us in the society, then you talk about a police officer, then you should be aware that there was a police officer who, you can't keep cock up stories. You can create story, but if the story is a real story, an original story, an incident which you would have read somewhere, and if you share that story that there was a particular state, and in a particular state there was a police officer who really helped people. If you show his picture and if you start sharing his pictures and if you start sharing his story, then it might inspire somebody to become a police officer. So you are empowering the students. So when you are empowering the students, your subject should be strong and also related to the subject. You need to have extra information about what is happening in today's world. That is why I tell the teachers to please do read newspapers. You might get a real life story. You might get a real life. Hero if you are teaching. If you are teaching people who help us. Like last year there was. A conflict between China and India at the border, and there was an officer who was killed. This officer belonged to Telangana state. If you could get his photograph, Santosh is his name. If you get the name, if you get the photograph of Santosh, you could get the story of Santosh and share it with people. These are the people who help us. They take care of us. They are guarding the borders. They protect the country. So if you are sharing the information on the army people, the defense people, the air force people, then you need to have an extra information like you share. Okay, this is Mr. Santosh. He helped us he saved us from the Chinese army. He fought till the end. He gave up his life. So he would become an inspiration for students. So you need to empower students, and also you need to make sure that with the knowledge you have, you need to inspire students. And when you inspire, then there is progress. You can't tell that there is an army which is guarding the border in the Chinese and the LOC. Somewhere near Arunachal Pradesh or somewhere near Kashmir, there is a troop of army officers. Fine, but if you get a real life story, and if you could show them the video and if you could share that information with them. So for that, you should be aware of what is happening in the present situation. Or if you're talking about COVID warriors, you need to know who are the COVID warriors, who helped. There are a lot of people who are helping. If you could pick up a story of a particular group of people in your own town and you share, see, these are the people who are helping the COVID warriors. They are supplying food, they are supplying medicine, they are taking care of these patients. Then people will know what nursing is. Nursing doesn't mean that a person who is wearing a nurse dress, male or female, is a nurse. Nursing also means the people who help the patients, people who go to the hospital and take care of the patients there. They also become a nurse automatically. So you empower students, and then there is a progress, you would see. Knowledge of subject matter also helps the teacher to understand how people learn, assimilate subject, and what students need to know by the time they are in grade 5, 6 and 7 or higher classes. I've just given a blank number there. The knowledge which you have will help you understand how students are learning. Okay, if a student is very curious in mathematics, you will learn, okay, he's very quickly grabbing numbers. He knows what prime number is. He knows what even number is. He knows what odd number is. How is he learning? What is his learning pattern? Psychologically, you will be able to, and how is he assimilate? Assimilate in the sense, how is he collecting that information? And what students need to know. So, then you will know, okay, by the time he goes to grade 5, he will be knowing all the formulas. Planning shows itself the clarity of lesson objects. If you have a lesson objective, the lesson objective is that I should be able to teach. Children should be able to differentiate between a police officer and a doctor. Children should be able to differentiate between the junk food and a healthy food. Children should be able to differentiate between domestic animals and wild animals. Children should be able to differentiate between a cow and a buffalo. So clear learning objectives. If you have a plan, what is a plan? I want my children to learn this. I want my children to learn addition, subtraction, multiplication and division by the time they finish grade 1 and 2. Foundation years is very, very important. Children, teachers, you who are teaching the foundation years, and we have a lot of teachers in this group who are foundation teachers. The concepts have to be very strong in the children. What is a concept? Concept is very simple. There's no big jargon in that. There's no big grammar in that. It's very simple. Logically, children needs to understand what 2 plus 2 is. Plus symbol. The concept of plus. The minute they see a plus mark, they should know that I'm going to add two numbers. If they see a x symbol, if they see a into symbol, child should know the concept is multiplication. Good lesson plan consists of introduction of the topic. Lesson plan will become a successful plan only if you introduce the topic in the right way. You can't get into the classroom and write on the board, today we are children, we are going to learn about domestic animals, dog, cat, sheep and goat and donkey. No. Introduction. How do you introduce the topic? How do you create that intro? You all have seen, most of us watch movies. Have you ever seen how the hero is introduced in the movie? The same guy, the same hero, you had seen him in the previous movie, he would look the same way in the next movie also. There's nothing great. He doesn't change. Shah Rukh Khan is Shah Rukh Khan in the movie. The same face, the same hairstyle, the same body language, the same walking style. There's no change. But you see the way he's introduced in the movie? Every time he's introduced in a different way, and at bang on he comes onto the screen. The minute he's on the screen, people start whistling for him. That is the intro. Children have to get that bang on into the introduction. They should get interest. An activity-based learning or a group activity. Put them into group. Put them cut a picture of a dog into get a picture of a dog and cut it into 10 pieces and put the pieces on a table and tell them to assemble it and see what animal it is. One group you give a picture of a dog, one group you give a picture of elephant, domestic animal, it is a cat. One group you give a picture of a goat, one group you give a picture of a donkey, one group you give a picture of camel. Because these are all domestic animals. One group you give a picture of a cow or a buffalo. Cut into pieces and you tell them jumbled pictures. Let them jumble it and make a picture and say, ma'am, this is a dog. Okay, I'm giving you 60 seconds to put the pieces together and make it a picture. This is an activity. Ask the children to make the sounds of the donkey. Sound of a dog. Everybody would start barking. The class would be funny. The neighbor class teacher would come running into the thing, or the principal may come running into your class and say, what is happening? I hear the dog sound, but actually the children are making sound. Effective questioning of students for a recap or a summation. Effective questioning. Questions should be very effective. Okay, how many dogs do you have? 4, ma'am. Okay, that is not an effective question. Have you ever seen a dog crying? Have you ever seen a dog jumping the fence? What does a dog eat? How many times a dog eats in a day? Have you seen what time does a dog sleep at home? What time does a dog get up? Effective questions. That means they're learning from that. Does a dog eat grass? Ma'am, no, I haven't seen dog eating, ma'am. Let me try. So he goes back home and he puts grass in front of the dog. The dog doesn't eat. Come back to you next day. Ma'am, the dog is not eating grass. When I put a mutton piece or a chicken piece, the dog is eating it. If I put a bread piece, also it is eating, but it is eating it hesitantly, it is eating. So the dog's favorite food is what? So now you understand what is dog's favorite food. So then you ask, what is your favorite food? My favorite food is pizza. Then you talk about pizza as a junk food you should not eat regularly. Once in a while it is okay. So this is how effective questions come to the children. So you're actually connecting the lessons with another lesson. You're also connecting the lesson with the moral value. What is the value you're learning? You're learning the value of health in this. Eat healthy food. Eat healthy food. Taking care of animals. Have you ever fed the dog which you have at home? Have you ever fed the goat which you have at home? You just drop the leaves in front of the goat and you walk off, or you go near the sheep, sit down, and then you keep the leaves in your hand and you start feeding. That is actually caring. So you are teaching them the values, you are teaching them what does the goat eat, how many times in a day does it eat. All these things are coming up in that particular session of your discussion of domestic animals. Lesson plan format, PDF of this which is attached along with the lesson plan. You can download it and use. Objectives. Why do we define objectives? We all have aims and objectives in life. Why do we do engineering? Why do we do doctor? Why do we decide that I would do a chartered accountancy course and I would take up chartered accountant? Or why do I do BEd? We have a very clear defined objective that I want to become a teacher, so I want to do BSc, BEd, BA, BEd, BCom, BEd. Objectives are very important concepts to be taught to the students for that particular lesson. For that particular lesson, what is the objective which you are trying to teach them? I told you, I am teaching the different people who work in the society, how they look, what is their working culture, what is their dress, what is the uniform. The doctor wears a white coat, the policeman wears a khaki dress, the nurse wears a white or a blue or a sky blue colored uniform. She's got a cap. The police officer has got a cap. The doctor doesn't have a cap, but the doctor has got a stethoscope in his neck. He wears gloves. So this is all the different way the people look. So that is the concept what I am teaching. Objectives are to be clearly understood and first, as a teacher, you need to be very clear with what objectives you are going to decide. I want my grade UKG children to know that there are 5 different people in the society who help us. One is a doctor, one is a police officer, one is a nurse, one is a army officer, one is a person who is the municipal officer or the support staff in the municipality. Teach them that there is a lady who is sweeping your street early in the morning. She's as important as an army officer, she's as important as a doctor, she's as important as a police officer. Because she is taking care of your health. So next time when you see a lady sweeping the street, teach your children to go up to her and say thank you. Next time when the boy is walking across the street with the parents, the boy walks up to that lady who is sweeping the street and says, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Can you imagine what kind of feeling this lady who is sweeping the street feels? Somebody's thanked her. You are teaching the value there of respecting every individual irrespective of what work they do. Remember, she is as important as a doctor. In fact, she becomes more important at times than the doctor, because if she had not kept the street clean, I would have been attacked by a deadly disease and then I would have been rushed to the doctor. So she's helped me she's helped me in not going to the doctor. So she's become more important than the doctor. So understand the objective. What is the objective there when you're teaching the different people, 5 different people who help us in the society? the municipal worker. The designation looks, my people have made the designation look cheap, but it is not actually. Support staff. How many of you in the school that have taught the children to go up to the ayah and say, in South India, most of the schools, the support staff is called ayah, or in most of the Islamic schools, I've seen she is called as khala, or she is called as auntie, she is called as amma. Can you imagine the meaning of these words? Amma, mother; khala, mother; auntie, mother. The meaning has got so significant. The meaning is so significant, but we don't show that respect which we give to our mom. My mom also cleaned me when I was a kid. If I used to wet my pants, my mom cleaned me up. I remember, I'll share an incident. I was in an LKG classroom, and out of the gate there was a drainage. There was a drainage. A boy pushed me and I fell into the drainage. Believe me, I was completely down into the drain from the head to toe. Can you imagine? I was in the drainage. The ayah pulled me out from the head. Teachers who have seen my photograph, or teachers, most of the teachers haven't seen me how I looked at young age. I was completely, I can recollect that incident very well. I was completely black. The ayah took me to a washroom. She poured buckets and buckets of water, and we didn't have the concept of having an extra pair of dress in the school. She went to her own house. She brought her kids' uniform. She stayed next to the school. I don't remember where she brought it. I thought it was her own son's dress. She made me wear that dress, a short and a t-shirt. And she cleaned my uniform and shoes and socks and everything. She took me home. She left me at home. Next day, she ironed my clothes and gave it to my mom. She did the work which my mom used to do it for me. She always took a place of my mother. So in the school, in the foundation years, LKG, UKG, the ayahs help the small kids when they go to the washroom. Have you taught them to thank them? Teach them to thank them. That is an objective. That should be the objective of people who help us. The objective is we need to be grateful for those people who help us. I would put this objective on the top. Objectives are to be clearly written. Write it down clearly that the people who help us, we need to show gratitude to them. This is the learning objective. This should be the main learning objective. Objectives to be clearly defined on a piece of paper. Write it down. I want my children to go to the ayah, go to the khala, go to amma, go to the support staff, go to the auntie in the school who cleans the washrooms, who cleans up the small children when they wet their pants. They need to tell immediately after she cleans up, they walk out of the washroom and say, thank you khala, thank you amma, thank you ayah, thank you auntie. Do your children do that? If your children are not doing that, and if you have not taught them, then the entire 40 minutes of teaching them how to respect people is waste. So objectives are to be explained to the students with examples or activities. With examples, people are respected. Call the ayah in the classroom. Ask the children to make a greeting card. Objective of this lesson, what I am teaching, is respect the people who help us. Call the ayah in the classroom. One day before you ask the teacher in the craft class, you tell them there is a craft class. Let's make a greeting card. I'll tell you the name whom to be given tomorrow. Now let's make a greeting card. Everybody would make a card. Next day morning, you write the name of the ayah on the board and tell the children to write that name in the greeting card. It might be a name of the khala who is helping you in your class, school. Write it and say khala. Ask the children to sign there, put their name there, write their own name. Now call the ayah in the classroom and then tell the children, thank her. Give her the greeting card and thank her. Can you imagine the feel which she will get? She will give more interest in her work. But you know what I have seen in the school? Come here. Idhar aao, ayama. Idhar chocolate paper uthao. Why should the ayah pick up the chocolate paper? Teach your children to pick up the chocolate paper and put it into the dustbin. The ayah is there, the khala is there, but it doesn't mean that she does every damn thing in the school which the children mess up. So what are the values you are teaching? You're not teaching them cleanliness, you're not teaching them the use of the dustbin, you're not teaching them the respect to people in the society. With examples and with activities you teach. So clearly defined objectives have to be. Objectives can be more than one. Now in this, right, people who help us, the learning objective can be who are the different people who help us, what is their job, how do they look, what do they wear. So the different learning objectives can be defined in the learning objectives. I put down 4 or 5 on the screen. You can make a note of that and try to build on the learning objectives for your class. Action. To make them curious about the subject, make them curious. Who all help you? I've changed my topic here. In the previous class, I was trying to explain how domestic animals. Now I've taken an example of people who help us. Curious. Who all help you? My mom helps me, my father helps me, my brother helps me. Anybody else in the society? Ma'am, the auto driver brings me, the school driver, the bus driver brings me. Yes, the bus driver is helping you reach the school. Ma'am, I was sick yesterday, my mother took me to the doctor. The doctor is helping me to become healthy. To elect the name of the topic taught. What is the topic? What are we discussing? We are talking about people who help us. So you are asking, who all have helped you in the last 1 week, in the last 10 days, in the last 15 days. So you get the topic from the children. I always tell the teachers to not write the topic on the board, not tell the topic to the children when you walk into the class, but rather get the topic out of the children. Oh, today we are going to learn about people who are in the society, helping us in the society. When he himself is sharing the information, he feels proud and then he shows interest in your class. You know, when your idea is accepted, you feel very proud, right? And you would show greater interest in learning that particular, or you get involved in that topic. Similarly, when the child is sharing the topic, he gets involved into the topic and there's learning happening. Investigate students' prior knowledge. You remember we last week I shared a story. What happened in the story? Some lady was in a car or in an auto rickshaw, right? Then the lady in the auto rickshaw left her money bag. Later on, the auto rickshaw guy saw the bag. He took the bag back to where did he take it? Ma'am, he took the bag to a police station and gave it to a police officer. Yes, who's a police officer? A police officer is somebody who helps us. What does he do? They keep walking around in the street and they keep looking at if there's anybody robbing, anybody has got in problems, they help. So who helps us? Police officers helps us. You remember I told you a story that the boy met with an accident and then we took him to a particular place. We took him to the hospital, ma'am. Who was there? There was a nurse, there was a doctor. So you are taking out You're connecting it to the previous knowledge. Connect the knowledge to what we are going to learn. Connect it to what we are going to learn. It has to get interconnected. You're talking about people who help us, and you need to share stories with related to police officer, doctors, nurses, engineers, support staff, municipality workers. You can't connect a story. If you're teaching about people who help us, you can't share a story of Akbar and Birbal. It's totally different. Proceed to the methodology. Once you're ready, then you proceed to the methodology. Methodology is a way of teaching. It's a way of teaching. What is a way? Either you use a chalk and board method, or I show a television, I show a video of a police officer, and I know a police officer's documentary I show. I show the documentary of Santosh who was killed at the LOC last year between China and India. I show a documentary of Santosh. There was a big statue which was erected in one of a Telangana town as a mark of respect for Santosh. Similarly, there are a lot of police officers, there are a lot of army officers who gave up their life, during the Kargil war, during the 1970s. There was a war between Pakistan and Bangladesh. A lot of police officers gave up their life. Pull out those stories and share it with people. Who was the first lady who became an Air Force officer? There was a movie. Pull out the clippings of the movie. That is a methodology. Clear learning objectives are met. What learning objectives you wrote in the previous slide has to get connected with the methodology. What you are talking about people who help us, then you need to show a story of a police officer, show a story of a doctor. You can't show a story of a domestic animal there. So it has to connect. It should be interactive. Okay, what is this doctor doing in this? What is the police officer doing in this? Have you seen any police officers near your house? Have you taken the children to the police station and thanked them because they worked so hard during the COVID war? Interactive. Ask questions. Have you seen a police officer? Have you seen the stars on the police officer's shoulder? Let the student go and ask the police officer, Uncle, this, you have 3 stars, this uncle has got 2 stars, what is the meaning of this? Every star designates the higher respect of a police officer. Interactive, ask questions. Students should be actively participating. Make sure that you ask questions to each and every student in the class. Don't ask questions to only the brilliant ones. In fact, you need to question more for the students who are very non-talkative. They are very quiet in the class. They are sitting in the last bench. Activities to be conducted during the class. During the 40 minutes, conduct the activity. You can play a drama. Right? One of our boy becomes an auto driver, one of our lady is in the sitting, one girl becomes a lady with a purse, or a boy is riding a bicycle, he meets with an accident, another boy comes running, take him to the doctor helps him, he ties a band-aid, an activity. So there he understood what a doctor does. They also understood that if somebody is lying on the road in a blood pool, it's your duty to pick him up and take him to the hospital. That is a value or teaching of sharing and caring and helping. So activities are to be conducted during. Activity-based learning, what does it do? Learning by doing is the main focus today. It has to be learning by doing. It has to be child-centered approach, child-centric teaching. You cannot keep the parents in mind and teach. You have to keep the child in. If the child is interested in music, the child is interested in watching on TV, watching a documentary and learning, then you need to show him that. Method of active learning where students are actively involved. What is activity-based learning? They are actively involved in the class. Tear the image of a doctor into 10 pieces and put it on the ground and say, assemble it. The head, the hand, the elbow, the neck, the leg, the stomach, the back, all put together, and finally it becomes a picture of a doctor. So the child is actually doing it. You're teaching them a plant, ask them to get a glass, paper glass, put some mud into it, put a seed in it and keep it in the classroom window. And let the child observe the growth of the plant, make notes, measure it with the scale. Okay ma'am, today I've got a plant which is 2 mm, 3 mm tall. Then after 1 week, ma'am, it is 6 mm tall. Then it is 1 inch tall, ma'am. Now ma'am, there is a small leaf coming out, ma'am. So note, on 15th August, I planted a seed in the glass. On 21st August, I saw a 6 mm plant growth. On 28th August, I saw 1 inch plant. On 5th September, I saw a small leaf out of. In this process of learning, students experience. They experience the plant growth. They experience the pictures, images, taking them to a police station and explaining them the different people in the police station. They memorize, they understand the concept. What happens? It builds the confidence of the student. They become very confident. I know who a police officer is. I know who a doctor is. I know how a plant grows. When you know something, your confidence level grows. Develops happy relationship among students. It will help you develop a very strong. I want this teacher to teach me because she is. I have a teacher. Students love to get interacted with the teacher because she's half the time disturbing the principal and me in getting. I need a lemon. I need a balloon. Need a torch. Students love this kind of teachers. Because the teacher is actually making the children do. Imagine sitting 40 minutes sitting in a classroom and just staring at you and you're talking and talking and talking. What learning is happening? They are looking at your face. It's just jargons. All the words are flying over the head. If you are making them do the activity, then they are actually involved. And it develops a very strong emotional skills. Emotionally, they get strong and the teacher and the student build a very strong relationship. Automatically they get attached to the teacher and then the teacher tells anything, they'll do anything. What kind of activities do you do to find out, gathering in knowledge? Go find out what are the different plans you have. Go find out who are the different people help you in the society. Ask your mom, ask your grandmother, ask your grandfather. Teacher is also a person who helps you to find out, to find the concept, to find the skill. What skill is required if you need to become a municipality worker? You need to be perfect in your cleaning and sweeping. You need to be perfect. If you're a doctor, you need to be perfect in doing surgeries. If you're a police officer, you need to be very sharp and brave and physically strong. To build, get experience through creative work. Give them creative work. Ask them to draw pictures. Ask them to paint the glass, paper glass in which they have planted the seed. They can make PowerPoint presentations. The activities you should focus on is experiencing. What happens in experiencing? Watching, they observe, they compare, they describe, they question, they discuss, they investigate, they report, they collect information, they select, they test, they try, they listen, they read, they draw, they imitate a police officer, the way he walks. They do modeling, they play, they act, taking on roles, they talk, they write about a police officer, about what one can see, they hear, they feel, they taste. If you're teaching them to make a lemon juice, the importance of lemon, then you squeeze the lemon, you get lemons, ask them to cut, squeeze it, put the drops in a glass, taste it and feel it. Memorizing, sequencing, order. Okay, this is order. After 2 plus 2 becomes 4, then 2 plus 2 plus 2 becomes 6. Sequencing comes. The patterns come. Okay, after this pattern, this is a pattern. Like after I have small numbers, I have big numbers. I have odd numbers, even numbers. I have prime numbers. This is how it is. Connect with the given knowledge. Understanding, structuring. What do they do in understanding? Structure, ordering, classifying, differentiate a plant. You get different types of leaves and you tell them to differentiate between the leaves. Leaf is small, one leaf is different color, one leaf looks big, one leaf has got small thin fiber kind of things in that. Constructing, solving, planning, predicting. What will happen after this? You're talking about weather. What will happen when the clouds are there? Predicting. Where it will rain now. Transferring, applying knowledge, formulating one's idea, individual understanding, interpreting, summarizing, evaluating, judging, explaining, and teaching. So the activities you need to focus on is experiencing. They should experience what they are. They should observe. They should describe. They should question. They should discuss. They should collect information. They should memorize. They should understand. What are the steps required for effective organization? You need to have a plan. What is a plan? Today I'm teaching about plant life. Then I need a plant, I need a leaf, I need different types of leaves, everything ready in a bag. Take a bag and walk into the classroom. I should involve children in the learning process. So what do? I need leaves. You go to the garden and pick up all the leaves in a basket and then take the basket into the classroom and litter the classroom with leaves and ask the children to pick up all the similar leaves. Each child is made an active learner. Involve all the children in the class. For each activity, ensure you follow the principle of what is that we are learning, how, work direction step by step, with whom, where, how long will you do the class, with whom will you do the class, where will you conduct the class, what after the class, what is that will you do after the class, what exercise will you do after the class. Ensure you give clear instruction before each activity. It must be focused on the above A, B, C and D. Plan, involve children, let the child be an active learner and follow the principle of what, how, with whom, where, how long and what after. What are we going to teach? How am I going to teach? With whom do I do this activity? Where do I do this activity? In the classroom, in the garden, in the kitchen. How long will I do this activity? 20 minutes, 50 minutes, 30 minutes? Exercise which I do after this. Role of a teacher, a planner. A teacher is a planner, an organizer, an evaluator. A teacher is a facilitator. A teacher is a decision maker. A teacher is a knowledge imparter. A teacher is a disciplinarian. You need to bring discipline. Children are doing activity in the work in a group. It doesn't mean that everybody is making noise. You need to maintain the discipline also. The decorum of the class also is important as a teacher. Brainstorming session. 10 minutes planning, 5 minutes each group wise. What do the teachers divide into a group? Teachers will choose a topic and teachers will do what is the purpose of these people in the society? How? With whom? Where? How long? So put questions to the students. Curiosity. A student learns best by becoming curious. Most children learn best through personal experience. So that is why I said, you take them to a police station, you take them to a municipal office, you take them to a doctor, or get the doctor to the school, get the nurse to the school, get the police officer to the school. Let the police officer talk about his experiences. You know, last week we were chasing a robber and the robber made me run all the streets in the town and finally I caught him. And when I caught him, I got 10,000 rupees which he had stolen from somebody's purse. What did you do with that person, sir? We put him into a jail. And how long he's going to be in the jail? He's going to be there for 6 months. What is going to happen for his food? We are going to give him the food. All these personal information, if you're talking about people who help us, my recommendation in the lesson plan is get those people to the school to talk. You don't talk about police officer. Let the police officer talk about himself. Let the doctor talk about himself. Let the nurse talk about himself, herself. Activity learning strategies are hands-on activity. Think, pair, share. Put them in group. Let them think. Let them share. Students connect experiments to real-life scientific knowledge. You have every school has got a place. If you don't have a place, you have a terrace, you have a corridor, you have a window. Get pots, Put seeds in the mud there and let the plants grow, and then you teach plant life. This is a leaf, this is a flower, this is a bud, this is a root, this is a stem. Let the plant grow in your class and then you show them, or get plants from outside and then start sharing. So think, pair and share, group work. Let the students connect with experiments you do. Do the experiment in the classroom or in the lab. Don't do the experiment at home and bring and show them the results. No. Group involvement. What is the advantage in group work? Group involvement has impact on long-term memories. I remember. See, I told you just now. I remember I did this experiment with the students in the class. Abdul was there, Satish was there, Radha was there. You know, we all sat together and we did this balloon experiment. Children, remember. Let them investigate. Let them do discovery of science with peers, providing opportunity for social interaction. Let them talk to each other and find out. Questioning extends the students' thinking. Ask them questions. What is the doctor wearing? You visited the police station. What all did you see? I saw police officers. There was a lady who was sitting with a khaki sari. There was a bucket there which was written fire on that, and there was mud in that. I saw rifles being kept there. There was a jail and there were two people inside the jail. All these observation happens. Ask them questions. Effective teachers question students constantly. Continuously questioning should come from the teacher. For every paragraph, have 2-3 questions. For every paragraph, have 2-3 questions. For every 10 minutes talk, ask them 2 questions. The more you question, the more learning would happen. Finally, a class discussion is held that everyone learns. At the end, recap. What did you learn from today's lesson? We learned about 5 different people who help us. Can anyone summarize today's lesson? Ma'am, a doctor, a police officer, a municipality worker, a teacher, 5 different people. This person wears this person has got a cap, this person has got a stethoscope. So that is a recap of what you do. Finally, love for the subject. Once you kindle the love for the subject, the work of a teacher is completely easy. The student is on constant quest to know the answers on his own and will restart to learn on his own.